Hi, I'm Tati, and this is what I read in August. Throughout August, I was participating in DisneyAthon, so everything I read in August was either Disney or fairy tale related. So first up is To Kill a Kingdom by Alexandra Christo. This one was so much better than I was expecting. Okay, so this is a villain story, or so I thought. It sort of starts out with both of our protagonists being kind of villainous. There's so much potential to the story, and I don't know if this is gonna be spoilery, but I want to gush about it, so maybe mute it while the picture of the book is up. It's a story of like these villains turning into heroes, sort of doing the right things, sort of. And so it is centered around sirens, which is why it worked for the prompt I was reading it for, which is Ariel, and the prompt was a singer main character, and the whole point of sirens is they sing. However, in this universe, the sirens are a lot like mermaids, and mermaids are something completely different. And there were also princes and pirates and one very dashing pirate prince. It was a bit like right on the edge of almost being too much fantasy for me, because I like fantasy that's on the lighter side, not too involved. However, it was fine. It didn't cross that line for me. Definitely some epic battle scenes. I started off this book with low expectations, and then once I got a few chapters in, I saw that there was so much potential to it, and then by the end, all of that potential was realized, and I was very, very happy. I gave this one 4.5 out of 5 stars. Next up was Sea Witch by Sarah Henning, which the prompt for this one was flounder to read a book with great friendships. And so the conflict of this book, like the whole story, is set around these two girls who are best friends. And boy, 2 girls and 1 boy who are best friends. Again, this is one I had low expectations to going in, because this is a villain story. This is the story of the Sea Witch becoming a villain. And again, I was pleasantly surprised. This one was better than I was expecting. I totally did not see the twist coming, which I probably should have in retrospect. I really, really loved Evie as a character, which I think is what made the book for me. And I might read the second one just because of how much I loved her as a character, and I think she is gonna be a big part of the second one. I also really loved the references to the original fairy tale throughout the book, and especially that last epilogue chapter and how much it reminded me of the poor unfortunate soul scene in the Little Mermaid movie from Disney. And so I gave this one 3 out of 5 stars. Then for the prompt of Prince Eric, I read As Old as Time by Liz Braswell. This one really surpassed my expectations. It was my favorite twisted tale so far before I read the next one I read. I really loved the take on the plot, so the twist of the story was really interesting. I loved the character development of all of our characters and how much the characters were fleshed out. And for more of my in-depth thoughts on this one, you can check out my every chapter videos for this book. I gave this one 4 out of 5 stars. Then I read Poor Unfortunate Soul, A Tale of the Sea Witch by Serena Valentino, and I read this one for the Ursula prompt. Now, this is an interesting twist on Ursula's story, however, really not my cup of tea. My favorite parts were the parts that were pretty much taken directly from the movie. And part of that is my own fault, because I didn't realize how much of a series the series actually was, so reading it out of order doesn't really work. I ended up giving this one a 2.5 out of 5 star rating. Next up, for the Sebastian prompt, I read Part of Your World by Liz Braswell. Okay, again, I was very worried and skeptical going into this one, because this is a twisted take on my favorite Disney movie, The Little Mermaid. However, I was extremely pleasantly surprised by this one. Again, these twisted tales keep getting better and better the further I go into the series. These characters were perfectly in character, and I loved, again, the character development, and even the new characters that were added in were fantastic. And this book takes place 5 years after the twisted events at the end of the movie. And even so, I feel like that was represented really well. They've grown older, but they're still them. The whole plot was fantastic. The ending, I could not have asked for a better ending. And I felt like the humor in the book was spot on with the humor in the movie, which I can imagine how hard that would be to write. This one I think is my favorite Twisted Tale so far. I am just having a blast with this whole series and getting to spend all this time getting to know these characters that are my favorite. 4.5 out of 5 stars. Then I read Beauty and the Beast Lost in a Book by Jennifer Donnelly, and I read this for the next team or the next island on the map that I jumped to, which was the Beauty and the Beast one, and the first prompt was Belle, a book with adventure, and this is literally Belle on an adventure. I had fun reading this one. It didn't seem to stray too far from the canon of the original movie. However, it does seem like it was based more off of the live action than the animated one, in my opinion. I don't even know if it came out before the live action or after the live action, but it felt like it was based off of more of the live action. I also did enjoy the added characters of Love and Death. I thought they were really interesting and added a cool element to the story. I gave this one 3 out of 5 stars. And then I read The Beast Within, A Tale of Beauty's Prince by Serena Valentino. Again, not really my cup of tea. It messes with the canon of the movie too much for my liking. I probably, and because I didn't like this one and I didn't like the other one, I probably won't be reading any more of the books in this series. I gave this one 2 out of 5 stars. And then finally, the last book I read was Part of Your Nightmare by Vera Strange. I read this one for the Cogsworth prompt. So I want to start out by saying I'm definitely not the intended age audience for this book. This is like a middle grade or even juvenile fiction story. I can't say I was really frightened by it or given the chills by it at all. However, if I had read it at the age that the book is meant for, I could see myself getting a little bit of the heebie-jeebies from it. Ursula was definitely in character, and I definitely did not see the ending coming. And I respect the ending, because I didn't know that's how the series was gonna go. But I respect it, and for that reason I gave this one 3 out of 5 stars. Now, when it comes to points, every prompt was worth 10 points, except for the group book prompt, which was worth 20 points. Overall, I have 90 points for my Little Mermaid team with everything I read for DisneyAthon. And that was what I thought of everything I read in August. Let me know in the comments what you think of any of the books I mentioned or what your favorite reads of August were. If you liked this video, you can let me know by giving it a like. I have new videos every Tuesday and Friday, so subscribe if you'd like to see more. Thanks for watching. Bye. And that was everything. And that was a few chapters in. Those notes are too spoilery to share. Bye.